and I am back, as promised. Now, given time frames, I think I'm going to go ahead and keep it down to a fairly simple army to explain. Once again, I clicked that one, I need that button. So today I will be going with the Necron. And let's go with this paint scheme. Among the oldest, if not the, depending on accounts, the Necrons were originally descendants of the Necroni. Excuse me if I'm mispronouncing that. Beings of a dying star who called out to the gods, the star gods, two of which are actually featured in the game itself. The others are mostly referenced in lore. One of them in particular, the Deceiver, playable, tricked them into service by saying that he would free them from their star's poison by giving them metal bodies. And he did. Turn them into mindless machines. Now bound by living metal, they seek out to destroy all life. Why? Because evil robot. And I think all life is exactly what I intend to go up against today. In the penal colony. Now, in-game, the Necrons only really use one resource, actually. As a matter of fact, they use exactly one resource. Power. Makes sense, they're robots. What does matter if you can simply build yourself out of power?
Yo!
Ah, welcome back. I was just getting started.
Sorry, I had to stir my muscles, and I just want to put it out there. If you are into eating mussels, we're live, right?
Yes.
All right. If you're into mussels, I just want to throw this out there because it's awesome. Chop up some green onion, soak it in. It's called sweet pea. It's not actually sweet pea taste, but it's an apple peach wine. And soak it in that, cook them down first, and then add more wine, and then throw your mussels in there and keep it on like 1 or 2, and let it cook for like a long while so them start opening up, and then just turn up the heat a little. I just tried one, and oh my god, it is like so buttery and just sweet. It's amazing.
All good?
All good.
Okay. So the map is the penal colony, and it's actually one of my standards for running decently sized fights. It is a little cramped early on, but you crush 1 or 2 opponents and you've got lots of breathing room. As far as who I'm going up against, the answer is whomever the computer feels like throwing at me. That one I can guarantee. I'll be focusing most of my explanations of what's going on just on the Necrons, but if you are interested in any of the other races, feel free to let me know, or I'll eventually get to them all. There's only like 9 of them in this time. Later expansions will be including 2 more. It is worth noting that the Necrons were mostly built from one of the titles, specifically the 3rd title of the franchise, everyone's favorite up to and including mine, the Dark Crusade. That being said, this is also the same supermajority that believed that Soulstorm, the version of the game for which I'm actually playing, was considered a travesty of the God Emperor and a horror to all mankind, and should be shunned. I respectfully agree with all of that. I really do. Soulstorm was not that good. The campaign was absolutely terrible. The 2 new races that they added, while really cool, poorly done. And all in all, just not that good. But the modification expansions built on it are varying degrees of amazing. The Necrons have the smallest army list, but in pretty much every fashion. In the books, their army list is actually smaller than what it is in the tabletop. And in this game, actually the original game included almost every unit they had, which is truly stunning when you consider the fact that the Space Marines, their army list is actually a fourth. The Imperial Guard is even smaller. The Eldar and the Tau are maybe half their army lists. The Necrons are everything.
Right.
So that's that should give you an idea of just how small the army list is. Oh, and I see Comrade is in fact leaving us for the night. She did in fact mention that she wasn't going to be here for long. Actually, it looks as though she might have completely disconnected. Trying to think here. Oh yes, the gods of the Catan, or Satan, or there's a couple of pronunciations on that one. The two that are featured in the game are the Deceiver and the Nightbringer. These are two. Presently, they are classified as shards of the Catan after a change in their lore, stating that the gods were actually broken. The other gods include the Voidbringer, also known as the Omnisaia. Remember that one? I will be bringing them up later. Honestly, I can't remember any of the others. I will have to look them up. Assuming I remember to. I don't know how long this is going to take, but I will do my best to put them in the description, just because I feel kind of sad knowing that I've forgotten them all. The headquarters units are the exact same two featured in this mod that I will be explaining. They are the Necron Lord and the Necron Lord Destroyer. The only difference is one's on a flying base. That's literally the only difference between the two. Okay, this load screen's actually taking a little bit longer than I was expecting. Their primary deployment method, well, actually, even in the story lore, is that they're actually already on the planets for which they're being discovered. Almost all conflicts with the Necrons are not because the Imperium have managed to stumble across them, like almost all other conflicts, but they are because the Necrons are waking up on planets for which everyone else is already on. They've been slumbering for longer than the human race has been in existence. I mean, longer since we've been, drawing caves. They go back. Actually, the Eldar origin stories is pretty much where the Necron end, and that is described as approximately 65 billion years ago. Now, the other mechanic that the the other resource that the Necrons have is not power, it is speed. It is the speed in which you build all of your buildings, units, pretty much everything. The unit also features, or this game, sorry, features a brand new unit as well, the Builder Scarab. And it does more or less as you would expect. Tabletop doesn't really need them, though they do have attack scarabs, which I'm going to be building here soon. And they do exactly what this mod has them doing. They are small little flying nuisances of death and destruction. Oh, looks like my neighbors include the mighty Space Marines. Now, while it is possible to choke most armies out of their resources, the Necrons are incredibly hard, and while you can choke them out of build times by making them build incredibly slowly, power is always generated at base, just like every other faction in the game. As such, you can never truly starve the Necrons. Though you are more than welcome to try. Now, most of the buildings are not actually derived from anything in the lore, with the exception of one, actually. The Necron monolith actually transforms into a unit of the same name that is actually featured in the tabletop board game for which this entire series is derived upon. It's also kind of the, among the top units that you really don't want to fight in that thing. Part of the reason why it's the building in the original game that you are building towards at all times. All of your HQ upgrades are literally getting this bad boy up and running. No, serious, Awaken the Monolith is the first thing you get. It's simply about you waking up your monolith. I'd like to try to call it NyQuil, but, the NyQuil upgrade, I'm pretty sure, just has all kinds of copyright problems. It's also worth noting that this modification has also introduced a bit of a waking up with the power grid. Now, when I say that, my other allies are the Tau, actually among my favorite race. But when I talk about the awakening of the power grid, most races have a large number of power grid researches. Yours is actually, the Necrons is clearly laid out where you can see them, giving you this checklist of things to square away, and is actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more than any other race gets. Oh wait, I think it's 6 more. No, it's exactly 5 more than any other race gets. Creating this ideal that you are waking up your army, just in the aesthetics. Not done in the original game, mostly because the scale is significantly smaller and the Necrons are absolutely terrifying without power increases. This mod, though, due to its larger scale, felt that they needed to give the Necrons a slightly better edge with their one resource, while still remaining very much the single resource power mongers that we all know and love. The next unit that I'm working on is the Necron Warrior. Kind of the mainstay, once again, tabletop featured. I will highlight which one is not tabletop featured once I find him. I'm not quite sure where he's hiding it, although I want to say that you can build every unit from the monolith. Yes, you can build every unit from the monolith. So once I build him, I'll show him. Once again, every building featured in the game does not actually exist, with the exception of the monolith that transforms into a unit. I should also take some time to point out that particular research. The reassemble research is actually a reference to their special ability. In the tabletop game, they have a 50-50 chance of standing back up. Literally any unit that you kill, in most circumstances, you will roll a 6-sided die. On a 4, 5, or 6, it will simply stand back up. No questions asked. This mod, however, has turned it into a purchasable ability, allowing you to resurrect dead guys from around you. Yay, battlefield scarring and extra persistent bodies.